Jorge, I don't know. Sometimes I think I am just too beautiful for YouTube. Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of Canada's Drag Race Season 3, Episode 4. Already Episode 4, sweet beats. Well, I think that we should just get on to the important things right away. Jorge, drink me. Oh, thank you, Jorge. Back to the pink pucker. So the queen said goodbye to Shalazan. It was really hard for a couple of them. It certainly was hard for Reveal Delicious. Well, to clean the mirror at least. She has no upper body. She's also got no love for Jada Shada, who laughed right in Shallowlicious's face when she lamented about how hard it was to send someone home she had just met. As correct as Jada was, I put it down to her feeling her oats after her first win, which, of course, the other queens congratulated her for. To change the subject. Sure. Then Jada won friends and influenced people by, well, getting Irma Gerd's name wrong. 4 weeks in and she's still calling her Irma Girl? I mean, after the first day, I totally understand. 3 weeks later, someone just isn't interested. Seriously. The next day in the workroom, Whiny-licious called Jada Shada out for not being more friendly towards her. Apparently, they gab on the phone for hours every day, and now, well, Jada's laughing right into her face. While the other queens rolled their eyes at Complainalicious, Jada pleaded ignorance and apologized by calling her Delicious that annoying baby sister. Of course, she didn't say we had to love that annoying baby sister. Thank goodness Tracy showed up in what I hope was not a reject pair of bus pants with this week's mini challenge. The queens would be the keynote speakers at a Trojan condom sponsored Talk Talk. 20 minutes later, the queens were ready to orate. Not like that. For this mini challenge, the queens' improv skills would be put to the test. It all boiled down to who has the gift of the gab. As the queens talked, different images came up on the screen next to them, and they had to include them in their talk. Fabulous. Jada went first and set a very high bar. Nothing tripped her up. She never stopped talking and wasn't unfunny while she did it. Seriously. Giselle impressed me because, well, English isn't her first language. Hint, that thick accent. I said accent. Vivian Vanderpuss made me laugh. I didn't really follow her talk, but that didn't stop me from having a good time. It really was the fun of a slip and slide without the grass stains. As advertised. Hilarious. Bombay was serving businesswoman realness to talk about her womanly business, if you know what I mean. Both Boom Boom and poor little Irma seemed to get flustered by the images on the screen. The graph was the most perplexing. Kimmy was her angry, bitter self. Trizalicious was thin and tall. And, to be honest, I don't remember chaos during the mini challenge. At all. Do you? So, when the tucks were all talked about, it was no surprise to me that Jada Shada Hudson won the mini. Here's to Miss Hudson. There you go. And then it was time for the Maxi challenge. The queens would have to make their runway looks from the contents of differently themed boxes. Because she won the mini, Jada got to assign the boxes. Seriously. By the way, did anyone else notice Irma and Vivian holding hands through all this? When it came down to the last two themes, they were flirty and basic. The general consensus is that Jada gave Vivian basic and Tantrumlicious flirty only because she knew Vivian would complain less about being basic. A lot less. I don't blame Jada. That's what I would have done. And then the queens got down to work, and after a quick rummage through their boîtes, they all discovered, well, they had the exact same things in each boîte. So much for Boom Boom taking umbrage over getting crafty. Seriously. I have to say, I love this challenge. Nothing separates the divas from the queens like a good old-fashioned sewing challenge that requires them to work with the same stuff. Gasp. As surprised as the queens were, it didn't seem to hold them up as they got into it. Vivian, as far as Giselle was concerned, was going to recreate her outfit from the box's contents. Or maybe she just likes fringe. It could be retro on the West Coast. I don't know. I've never been. Irma mulled over her retro club kit idea with Boom Boom until clueless Alicious interrupted to ask Boom Boom for help. Sorry, advice. Needless to say, Irma and Boom Boom were thrilled. As Bombay noticed that half the room was actually sewing while the other half was hot gluing, I have to admit, I was impressed. I think this is the most sewers we've ever had on one season of Drag Race that wasn't All-Stars. Here's to those queens who learned to sew. I mean, what else is there to do in Canada? Thank God Miss Tracy popped in to check on the queens. Her first visit was with Jada Shada, and from what she tried to tell Tracy about her cardboard alien galaxy futuristic circle boobs, her recent winning streak could be over. By the way, nobody's drag queen name in high school was circle boobs. No one. Giselle dropped names like Valentino and Versace, which bode well, and admitted to Tracy that she wanted to win because she's sick of being safe all the time. Good. Come on, Giselle, seriously. Boom Boom was worried about the judges saying she was being swallowed by her look. Tracy more or less told her to fix it so they wouldn't. Good for Tracy. Lost Delicious was talking structure and fringe and her runway theme being, please don't send me home this week. Okay. Timmy talked about how hard it was to live up to her drag mother's reputation in the design challenges, and when Tracy pointed out that she'd already had a win, Timmy wasn't shy about saying that she wanted more. And then she lost the laugh of the damned. Seriously, don't walk down a flight of stairs in front of this one. Just saying. Chaos said the word crafty so much during her visit with Tracy that I was actually starting to worry that her runway was going to look like summer camp. To be truthful, I think that Tracy was more interested in what Vivian was wearing than what she was designing. Bless. Irma told Tracy that she had her head in the game this round because that last design challenge happened on day one, and apparently Irma's a social grasshopper. Not like the army ant who stands before Tracy today. And then Tracy accused Irma of East Coasting in the past, and, well, I instantly forgave her those bus pants. The next day, as the queens got into drag, they talked about what the perception of drag has become in this day and age. It was a fabulous conversation. Kimmy talked about not being booked for shows because, well, she's a woman, and shutting down the haters who say drag is the art of looking like a woman by asking, do you think you look like a woman? And as funny as her, I'm not here to educate people, I'm here to enjoy my cocktail line was, there's a lot of truth in that. Educate yourselves, people. It's called the internet. It's not hard. It doesn't always have to be porn, is what I'm saying. I'd also like to say that I don't think drag is about looking like a woman. Drag is about looking like a female entertainer. There's glitter. There's false eyelashes. There's nails. Or you're just not doing drag. And let's face it, this is not the way most female presenting people go around on a typical day. Which is too bad, really. And then it was time for the main stage. Brooklyn Heights looked gorgeous in her blue velvet jumpsuit. Tracy's dress was giving her sparkling personality a run for its money. And joining them this week, the exquisite filmmaker and activist Serene Fox, looking stunning in couture. Seriously, this is the dress she wore to sit behind a desk for a Canadian TV show. I love her. And joining them on the panel, always a bridesmaid, never a winner, Canada's Drag Race Season 1 pioneer, Jimbo. Category is, Bitch Stole My Look! Up first, Bombay, and, well, it was as she described it, a veil to reveal a jumpsuit. Personally, I think she could have just done with the jumpsuit. And, sorry, but I just didn't like this. Finger don't for Bombay. Vivian was next, and I immediately regretted giving Bombay a finger don't because I absolutely hated this dress. It had no redeeming qualities. The waist wasn't even, which caused the whole thing to sag. Now, you know I love me some Vanderpuss, but this runway is a finger don't. Give Bombay that finger do. Just saying. And then, well, it was all over if you ask me. If I had been backstage and seen Giselle Lullaby floating around in this, I would have just gone home. Seriously, it was Valentino. It was Versace. It was Laura Dern in Star Wars. If I were to critique anything, it would be, well, that wig she's wearing. But quite frankly, I think that's the part that made her look like Laura Dern. But clearly, this look was a finger do. Just saying. Kimmy Couture looks stunning, but this is the third time I'm seeing this silhouette on Miss Couture. Still gave her a finger, didn't he? Speaking of seeing a silhouette before, Miss Legsalicious' runway wasn't anything new from a design point of view, but I wasn't mad at it, and I thought she looked good in it. Surprised the hell out of me, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. I didn't love Ermagerd's runway, but I didn't hate it enough not to give it a Fingerdoo. Again, I think it was about the headpiece. I can see why Boom Boom was worried about being swallowed up in her costume, but I think she did a good job balancing it out. Plus, y'all know I'm a sucker for a headpiece. Fingerdoo for Boom Boom. Chaos was another look that I wasn't sure about. She didn't need the paper to go all the way to the ground, and if she'd stopped it just below the hip, she could have walked in it a bit better. I also wish the bodice had been fabric only. She could have done like a simple halter to complement those leaves. But as much as I like the idea of a runway, I'm going to give it a Fingerdoo, seriously. Last but not least was Jada Shada Hudson and a place setting for 5. Now, I need to say good try. She's not a sewer, and as it usually happens with people who aren't confident in their look, she did too much. If those plates hadn't been down the front and that penis hat wasn't on her head, hey, it's either a penis hat or an ode to poppin' fresh dough. Either way, it was unnecessary. If she just spent less time on those things and more time on the fit, this would have been a really good look. Instead, it's a Fingerdoo. Seriously. Then Brooklyn announced that Giselle Lullaby, Ermagerd, Chaos, Bombay, Kimmy Couture, and Jada Shada Hudson were the tops and the bottoms this week. And Brooklyn had a question for them. Who should go home tonight? Double gasp. Clutch your pearls. Bombay and Jada said Chaos, but Giselle, Irma, Kimmy, and Chaos all said Jada. Needless to say, there were tears. And they continued in the Untucked Lounge. Irma was certainly sorry that she had said Jada's name. Jada was just stewing in her own juices, blaming everyone but herself. Did she get the worst critiques? Yes. Did the judges laugh at her, not with her? Yes. Was hers the worst runway on that runway? Let's just say, it was one of the ones that made the top looks look so good. Bless. And then there was this big argument between Kimmy and Judge Alicious that got so catty, Kimmy canceled the tour, canceled the merch, she canceled everything. Seriously, that made me laugh so much. Am I starting to like Kimmy? Back on the main stage, Brooklyn announced that the winner this week was Giselle Lullaby, as well it should be. I love how emotional Giselle got, saying that she left fashion design to do drag. Here's to Giselle. I love you, my dear. Mwah. The two queens in the bottom this week were not a big surprise. It was Jada Shada Hudson and Chaos. They had to lip sync to Tamia's Stranger in My House. Right away, Jada got rid of her big red wig because, well, she had a cuter, sassier blonde one on underneath. Her whole dress immediately seemed better with that wig. No? And boy, oh boy, did she throw down. As hard as Chaos tried to keep up with Jada, I felt her dress design held her back. Nothing held Jada back. There were splits, there was floor work, there was emoting. Chaos threw in a front flip, but I feel it was too little too late. So when the music died, I wasn't surprised that it was Jada Shada Hudson who shantaed, and it was her vote for Trade of the Season, Chaos, who sashayed away, bless her. So, 8 queens are left. How Delicious seemed to have a gob on her throughout the end of that episode. So clearly, the Untucked Lounge drama is still stinging. Now I'm looking forward to next week. What do you think? Did the right queen win this week? Were the right queens in the bottom? Did the right queen go home? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And check out the links in the description box for ways that you can support me and this channel. Until next time, it's me. Seriously, Jorge. And what was with Gobalicious's face at the end of this episode? Did you see her standing there like, ooh, and then while everyone else was dancing, ooh? I mean, it looked like she was actually looking at the judges with that face. I mean, oh, there's nothing worse than a whiny little so-and-so who's like, I'm not happy. Somebody asked me why I'm not happy. Oh, I'm going to stand here with a gob on, so y'all ask me why I'm not happy. Oh. As if life isn't hard enough. God bless. God bless. I wish that Winalicious was 21 or 20 and not 25. Every time I remember she's 25, I just go, such a shame. It's such a shame. I feel like she still lives at home. Like, still lives at home. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not helping her.